Hello and welcome to Editing with My Wife, now with more bad writing. I'm the Hooded Philosopher and I'm here with Cheesy Loops. Cheesy Loops, what's this episode about?
This episode is where we talk to experienced user and learn what all magic does from their perspective.
That'll be fun. I hope.
There's gonna be more.
So in the previous episode, we had a man named Fring who took Draylin into custody and made a mistake. And now he has a burn across his face. I wonder if anything will happen with him. Kryn will come in and help Draylin by telling the guard that something's up. And the guard was supposed to leave, but then Draylin beats the crap out of him.
Listen, the guard just was a butthead and wanted to torture Draylin more. He didn't leave like he was supposed to. That's what was irritating.
Yeah, that's true. And when they meet up with Flynn, they find her brilliant mind help her through this whole excursion until the very end when they needed Draylin one last time and he created a new landscape, a new piece of
Draylin's
landscape.
escape!
That's how he escapes, by creating a cliff to prevent the enemy from following. So, on to the next chapter, all the right questions. Anything you want to say before we start?
I get to read!
Yes, this is the boy's perspective, so...
Alright. The boy was feeling and being ignored in the simple encampment the rebellion had built around Tresca's own glowing blackness. So they're in Tresca's home.
Where, yes, that's where her home is set up right now.
Okay.
And that's the reason why they aren't using her home back there, is because she uses it for the rebellion.
I see. His eyes looked outward. It was so hard for him to communicate with anyone. The boy wandered around the tents, watching all the people do incredible magic. It made him want to try it so badly himself. He stopped and watched as people conjure beasts and monsters for practice. The monsters were all behind sturdy walls and several set of bars. Thinking about the different things he may do, he recalled the way people can make various feasts. He remembered home, going into a shop with his auntie and getting a candy bar, or restaurants with so many good and different foods. A woman came up behind. She crouched to his level and in his hand language asked, "Do you need help? My name is Nell, and I've been wondering if I could help you." Her name is so hard to say.
Yeah, I forgive anyone who misinterprets that. They can say it however you want. Really, there is no wrong way of saying a name in my stories.
Yeah.
If it looks weird, go with it. Whatever you want to say.
The boy was dumbfounded. Tears began to well in his eyes. Only his auntie and his father could talk as well as she was. He began crying from the nostalgia. She caught him up and asked, "Show me to Tresca." She wiped his tears. "I believe we're going to be good friends." He was crying, the emotion spilling out of him like a burst dam. All he could do was point her back to the tent he came from. The boy went in first, seeing only Draylin and a rebellion leader named Marcus. Draylin waved him over. He ran over to him as his new friend came around the corner. She came around the corner and straightened up. Marcus greeted her formally. "Private Nail, I wasn't expecting you."
The doggo's getting a little treat. She wanted to play really badly and I couldn't. And then she just jumped up into my lap, which she never does. She has bad back legs, so jumping up is hard for her. So I'm giving her a treat. Treat's done. Alright.
Noisy.
I will play later. It was a very noisy doggo, but it was tasty for her, wasn't it? Aww.
Marcus greeted her formally. "Private Nail, I wasn't expecting you." "Yes, sir, I was led here by the boy." They looked at the boy, who was grinning ear to ear. At this moment, the boy could have said anything, but he chose to say, "Where is Tresca?" In retrospect, the boy realized Draylin already knew, so there was no need for translation. That's a weird sentence.
He looked up to the lady to translate, and then he realized Draylin already knew how to say that, so there actually was no need, which is a good thing to see, right?
Yeah. Okay. She left to secure the space near the Lord's arena to look for a vantage point to better see Nathaniel's signal, Draylin explained. "With her reputation, I didn't think she was going to risk going near it," Marcus added. Draylin got down to the boy's level. "Now it's my turn. Why did you bring young Nail here?" "I can speak his hand language," he said plainly. The boy began nodding. His hands became a flurry. Nail could barely keep up. "He wants me to meet Tresca. He wants me to teach you. Draylen stood. Nail it is. How did you come to speak the hand language? Draylen asked suspiciously. She laughed. My family took care of children, and hand signals were a good way of communicating without their awareness. I've been doing it my whole life. We'll make preparations to travel to Tresca. Take the boy while we finish her up. Report back in an hour. Nail stiffened and saluted customarily. Ooh, that's a hard word. Can you scroll?
Yes, just 1 second. I want to make sure that gets fixed. Because
Because
you said nail it is. But it was off, and it should have been read like that.
Yeah.
Even the punctuation is right.
Okay. Nail stiffened and saluted customarily. Then grabbed the boy's hand as they walked out of the tent. We don't have a lot of time. Is there any questions you want to ask? She said. She asked. She said.
She queried. She questioned. Whatever.
Okay.
Well,
she asked as they walked to a nearby grassy patch and sat down, patting the ground next to her invitingly. What is all this stuff people are using? His hand stuttered, looking for just the right way to ask.
What do you got? What are you doing? This is not your style.
What are you doing? Had all day to do that and picks now.
Yeah. She is starving for attention.
What is all this stuff people are using? His hand stuttered, looking for just the right way to ask. You mean the magic? Well, there's lots of kinds. The one that seems to be everywhere is a powder of creation. Fine white dust that once ingested can give you the power to create anything, depending on who you are. The little glass shard-looking stuff is crafter's glass. It allows you to carve magical runes onto different things, depending on who you are. The vial mine is a silvery liquid in little bottles. It allows some to communicate with people through the mind. Others can move things manually or magically. Let's see, she said, scraping her mind for more details. I think it's called brown leaf. It heals differently depending on who you are. The boy remembered the couple up on the side of the road. A particular mushroom allows you to see stuff that's not there. Oh yeah, and heartstring, the one that manipulates people's emotions, she concluded. The boy's next question was simple. What about me? She looked at him gravely. If you are too young when you take it, you'll never be able to use it. As if to make her point solid, she added, permanently. Trust the adults you are with. They will guide you. How will I know when I'm ready? His hands begged. She smiled at him. I understand you are eager. The normal sign we look for here is when the voice changes, she said bluntly. Her eyes softened. Here, take this. She handed him a small, carved flute. You know what this is? She asked. The boy didn't. He didn't have to say anything, though. His confusion was plain. It is a flute. Put it to your lips and blow. He did as she said. If you put your fingers over the holes, it makes different sounds. He fiddled with the flute for a minute and then said thank you. Maybe someone around here can help you learn, she added encouragingly. Draylen walked up on the pair and knelt. She is hiding herself from magic somehow. We'll need to locate her visually, he concluded. He stood up and offered either of them a hand. As they arose, the terrain shifted around them. This is where I left her, he started walking. The boy pulled against his hand. He moved his hand as at Nail who translate. He said to use the earth. Draylen summoned a large flat stone that he stepped on to, followed by the boy. Sorry. Yeah. Draylen summoned a large flat stone that he stepped onto, followed by the boy, then a nervous Nail. They flew high into the air. Looking down, they saw some animals near and in a dense forest. A few guards off in the distance, but no signs of Tresca. They landed. A good idea, but I believe she's hiding from everyone, even us. They landed back where they started. Remember the hunt, boy. The animal doesn't want us to find it either. We must use senses other than sight. He began walking. Keep your ears and nose open. They walked towards the forest. As I understand it, Tresca won Lord Grollick's heart, Nael said, starting a conversation. She impressed him when she killed 3 of his men while blindfolded with her hands tied behind her back. If I saw it, I would maybe have an infatuation with her, Draylen explained. You weren't there to see it? That sounds like quite the spectacle, she said, impressed. No, I'm not from this world. I was to do it next, but those damnable Marsect officers. Apparently her nephew got the pleasure. The boy stopped. This was the first time of hearing Nathaniel. His hands moved. He did it? Of course, Draylen said, lifting the boy onto his shoulders. Did you doubt him? They continued deeper in the forest. You just skipped over the most interesting part.
Huh.
From another world? What is it like?
I missed something?
No, I was reading the story.
Oh, you did it. You did.
No, I was reading the line.
Oh, where am I?
You just skipped over the most interesting part. From another world? What is that like? Nail prodded.
I'm confused.
It's the line on your... Do you see where the blue highlighter is?
Right here?
Yes. Okay, that line is what I just read.
Because it was being pointed at a blue highlighter?
No.
I'm so confused.
I'm reading the story as you wrote it. And you responded with, huh? What did I miss? I'm reading the story.
Oh, I responded to the story.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, I was in it. I'm sorry.
It was cute.
I like it. I like the story.
I was a different animal every day. I lived in the mother forest with a family, a dangerous wife, and 2 hardy boys. He laughed. What about you? Have you cared for children your whole life? Yeah, my brother who was born for it. I needed to find my own way, and my friend and I decided to help the rebellion. Marcus was a friend of my father, so I went to help, she said carelessly, then asked, Where did you find the boy? Nathaniel the Noble found him while he was working as a postal master. From what I understand, he came with a note, but I never got a chance to read it, Draylen explained, returning the question. Where did your family learn the boy's hand language? My mother told me that it's been in our family as long as she can remember. She paused, thinking. She asked the boy something in his hand language. She spoke aloud for Draylen. Where did you learn the language? The boy's hand flew. She translated for Draylen. He says he learned it from his auntie and his father, back where he came from, a place called... She spelled Denver. I've never heard of this Denver, but I myself am not of this world. He just said that.
What?
Draylen just said that. He's already not of this world. Oh, okay. I'm back. I'll start again. I have never heard of this Denver, but I myself am not of this world. He began walking again. The boy stopped him with the hand signal for same. Draylen needed no help to understand this. You're from another world as well? Nail said, surprised. Scroll. Okay. Then our bond is fortified by the separation from our loved ones. He hugged the boy. We must find Tresca, informer of the great discovery. Oh, I heard it all, Tresca said from the other side of the tree. She was removing a wooden brick crown, saying, I'm just as surprised as you. She eyed Nail. Who's our guest? My name is Nail. I was recruited by Marcus. Growing up, my family worked with kids. We used the hand signals to speak over kids' heads, she summarized. Tresca nodded. Good to hear, she said. Let's get a move on. Perhaps you can give us a better instruction on the hand language than the boy. The new encampment is just over here. She pointed deeper in the forest. When the 3 reached the encampment, they found a table and sat while Nail showed them everything she could, until the time came to keep an eye out for Nathaniel's signal, when Tresca was nowhere to be found. I think it's an absolutely adorable little scene.
It gets across the idea that Tresca's learning it very quickly now too.
Right.
So they can communicate a little better.
And they're at this point they're just waiting. When I did my read through this today, and I saw Denver, it got a shock. I'm like, oh, a word I know, a place I know.
So what we're learning here, I don't know if it's been said, is that Sloan and his son are from one world, ours in particular, Denver.
Yeah.
And Draylon is not from the same world. So this world has been invaded by two individual worlds.
Yes.
We're two people from different worlds. One was here kind of his own power, Sloan, and then when Draylon came in, somebody needed him. Somebody made him come to this world to help. Something.
Right.
Well, not something. The divine arcane, but that is a something.
It's so interesting that Nail learned his hand language. Mm-hmm. And even though he learned it when he was living in Denver, someone on this world knows it too. Mm-hmm. So is it a similar hand language and she can pick up on it better?
That's not what it says.
It's exact.
Mm-hmm. Okay. She knows his hand language. So.
Okay.
Yes.
What other questions?
And it is very intentionally that way.
I mean,
she knows exactly what
all the humans. They're all humans on this planet that have come from mostly Earth at one point in time.
Yes, pretty much everyone here is from Earth except
the only thing is some of them have been so removed from Earth they are of this world now. This is where they were born. This is where they lived.
Everyone.
Except for
it's been centuries.
Well, we do know that now the boy's from Denver, so his father must be from Denver, and we met his aunt for like a brief second.
These people that originated here, that live here, are not from Denver.
No.
You know, but where they were from is so far back in their own history, they don't know.
Yes.
So that's the idea. Except for it's the truth is it's the rebellion. Whoever up there is that's helping out, he knows.
Weird.
Yeah, they have it in their oral tradition. Very big library up there.
Okay, I get it. It's cute. He really wants to use magic. He sees all these magnificent things.
And he hears what happens if you can't.
Yeah, and that's kind of scary. I would be nerve-wracking too.
Especially since one of the powers that he knows he has is the ability to communicate telepathically. He just knows that's his power.
He knows it?
And not 100%, but like deep down inside.
Like, okay,
she just explained all this magic. If he can take the vial of mind.
She just explained all this magic. I have to be able to communicate with people somehow.
Mm-hmm. This is the way that it'll work. I know it'll work. The problem is they don't know when it can happen. Because if you can't speak, they can't tell you. They can't figure it out. They don't know when your voice has dropped.
So it's just a guessing game.
It's a guessing game. Yeah. Or like there's an age limit that of course it would happen by then.
And really
and if it didn't,
only two people could make an educated guess, which is his father and his aunt, who are nowhere near in the picture right now. Mm-hmm. Tresca maybe could take a good stab at when that happens, but she's erring on the side of caution.
Yeah, they all are. And now the boy is too.
Yeah.
So it'll be important if he needs to take it.
Right. But an important note, children can't use magic.
Not yet. Not until they're a certain age. That's why the school is where they are. So the magic can't conflict with them.
And I'm sure they learn.
And they can learn, and they learn everything they need to know is to use it.
Yeah, they get all the education. They get all the the written education of it. The practical application will come later.
Yeah, it's there, but they're also getting a high school education, which is a huge advancement for a race of people who never got there, who still stuck behind Newton.
But the other thing is too, having that much drilled in your head about what this magic can do will help you. I feel has helped people. I mean, in our own world, when you drill in that, like learning, when you drill in the lectures and that stuff before practical application, the practical application tends to go smoother, and so.
Yeah, but there's nothing like practical application, is there?
Sometimes you just need that practical application.
It's a yin and a yang.
That is dangerous for kids to use, so might as well just drill it into their head till it's no longer dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and it keeps them out of any of the danger that the drugs are bringing by the fires coming out of people's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, there's the school isn't a part of this.
Mm-mm.
And not even Sloane thinks that way. He wants this place to succeed, and he had a plan, and something's going on, and he would never use the children, though.
No. Okay, scroll up. I want to make sure there's nothing else I want to talk about. There's the magic.
Where was that repetition of words?
In the magic explanation, depending on who you are. I mean, you could say that...
It's asked. The word was asked.
Oh. Up more?
There it is.
We don't have a lot of time. Is there any questions you wanted to ask? Any questions that you have?
That's one word, huh? Look at me. I know words.
You know words?
Spell anything. ANY space THING. That's the word.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it guides you a little bit more on the magic. Just the problem is that it's individualistic. That everyone has their own unique way of using their power, of showing their power off.
It also this chapter gives you a little bit into Sloane himself.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows. Well, the reader should know that this is Sloane's son.
Yes, and I'm not hiding that.
Except for Draylen doesn't know. That's the funny thing. Draylen never got to read the note, so he doesn't know that that's Sloane's son.
But he heard of the note.
He heard of the note.
Yeah, he heard about him being Sloane's son, but he never got to see the note.
But he doesn't know what's on the note.
What do you mean?
He said it in this chapter. He doesn't know what's on the note.
Yeah, he didn't know what it said. It just said something about him being Sloane's son. And that's all it really said. Except for on the back it said, please help him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's really much to talk about in this chapter. What about the flute? That's a weird gift.
Yeah, it never really comes back up.
No?
I could put it in later, or I could extract it here. I like the idea of having it, because Draylen likes to sing. I don't really use that.
Well, maybe, is there another time in which Draylen and the boy are together?
Oh, yeah.
That they don't have to be quiet?
Because the hunting, yeah. I think that after a hunt, they don't need to be quiet.
Okay.
The problem, well, we'll see what happens. There's lots of places. This is 39 chapters. There's plenty to go through.
Mm-hmm.
But what a question?
Ooh, what's a good question?
So what do we have here? We have Tresca for a little bit, and she learns about the hand language.
And she can hide from everybody.
Yes, she's a sneaky lady. Well, or as I said earlier, love flows freely. Mm-hmm. She can go wherever she wants, and people usually don't say anything. And even if they had a chance to, they may not even be aware she's there. Not hiding.
Your favorite thing to say about Tresca is she doesn't have to walk through the back door. She walks right in the front door.
Always. Never sneaking. She doesn't do that.
Well, what's a good question out of this chapter?
I know. Drawing a blank. Dead air.
It's a little difficult because, I mean, really this is like a learning chapter for the boy. And really is kind of like...
I guess the question then would be, is there anything missing about the drug that you'd like to hear more about these powers that come from these various substances?
Yeah, does there need to be something added about what
do you see what I'm trying to get at? Is it clear enough? Does it help incite your imagination? Is there anything else that could be said? That's a great question. Anything else? Just let me know in the comments below if you're interested.
Recap then?
And we go to recap. Alright. What's the boy up to?
I don't know. What is his height?
Excuse me. The boy learns a lot. That's pretty easy. He just was asking a lot of questions, getting a lot of good information. What? What?
Oh, I don't. He said, "What's the boy up to?" And I said, "I don't know. What's his height?"
You know, I heard that. I don't have a good sense of humor.
You chose to ignore it.
No, I was probably writing The Boy Learns a Lot. Which is far less interesting.
Oh. Dylan helps locate Tresca. Tresca keeps her secrets openly, and they'll help the team learn to communicate.
That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
Once again, thank you everyone for listening.
Have a good day.
Like, comment, subscribe. Please comment. I want to hear from you.
Bye.
I love you. Bye.